The rise, the fall, the legacy.
For decades, Party City was the place Americans went whenever they had something worth celebrating. Birthdays, graduations, weddings, baby showers, Halloween parties, New Year's Eve gatherings. If there was a reason to throw a party, chances were Party City had exactly what you needed. Brightly colored balloons, costumes, decorations, tableware, and countless themed products filled thousands of aisles across the country. At its peak, the company operated nearly 1,000 stores and employed tens of thousands of people. It dominated a retail category that it had practically created. For years, Party City seemed untouchable. Yet despite becoming America's largest party supply retailer, the company eventually found itself drowning in debt, closing stores, filing for bankruptcy, and fighting for survival. So what happened? How did the king of celebrations become one of retail's biggest collapse stories? The story begins in 1986 in East Hanover, New Jersey. Party City started with a relatively simple idea. Instead of forcing customers to visit multiple stores for decorations, balloons, costumes, and supplies, why not create a single destination dedicated entirely to parties? At the time, the concept was surprisingly unique. Most party supplies were sold in small sections of grocery stores, discount retailers, or local specialty shops. Party City offered something different. Customers could find nearly everything they needed under one roof. The concept quickly caught on. Americans love celebrations, and Party City made planning them easier than ever. The stores were colorful, exciting, and filled with products designed for every occasion imaginable. As word spread, the company expanded rapidly. New locations opened throughout the United States, and sales continued climbing year after year. By the 1990s, Party City had become one of the most recognizable names in its category. The company wasn't just selling products. It was selling experiences. Parents wanted memorable birthdays for their children. Families wanted holiday decorations. Friends wanted supplies for celebrations and gatherings. Party City positioned itself as the solution for all of it. Growth accelerated even further during the early 2000s. The company expanded aggressively, opening stores in new markets and strengthening its position as the dominant party supply retailer in America. Unlike many competitors, Party City specialized entirely in celebrations. While other retailers carried party products as a side business, Party City focused on them exclusively. This specialization became one of the company's greatest strengths. Customers associated the brand with parties. If someone needed balloons, decorations, costumes, or themed supplies, Party City was often the first name that came to mind. Halloween became particularly important. Every year, millions of Americans purchase costumes, decorations, and accessories. Party City transformed itself into a seasonal powerhouse during the Halloween season. Stores filled with costumes, masks, makeup kits, and decorations. For many locations, Halloween became one of the most profitable times of the year. The company continued growing throughout the next decade. New stores appeared across the country. Revenue increased. Market share expanded. Investors were optimistic. To many observers, Party City appeared to have built an incredibly successful retail empire. But hidden beneath the surface, problems were beginning to emerge. One of the biggest challenges involved debt. Like many rapidly growing retailers, Party City relied heavily on borrowed money. Debt can help companies expand faster, but it also creates long-term risks. As long as sales continue growing, debt may not seem dangerous. However, when growth slows, those obligations become much harder to manage. At first, the warning signs were easy to ignore. The company was still profitable. Stores remained busy. Customers continued visiting. But the retail world was changing. The rise of e-commerce transformed how Americans shopped. Amazon was becoming increasingly powerful. Customers no longer needed to visit physical stores for many products. Decorations, party supplies, costumes, and accessories could now be ordered online and delivered directly to their homes. This shift created a problem for Party City. The company's business model depended heavily on customers walking into stores. Large retail locations came with significant expenses. Rent, utilities, payroll, inventory management, and maintenance all added up. Online competitors often operated with lower costs and greater flexibility. Meanwhile, major retailers such as Walmart and Target expanded their party supply offerings. Customers who were already shopping for groceries or household items could simply purchase decorations during the same trip. Party City faced pressure from both online retailers and large brick-and-mortar competitors. Then came another unexpected challenge. Helium. For years, helium-filled balloons had been one of Party City's signature products. Balloons were not only popular but also highly profitable. Unfortunately, global helium shortages created serious problems. Rising helium costs increased expenses and reduced margins. A product that had once generated reliable profits suddenly became far more difficult to manage. The company attempted to adapt. Management invested in online operations. New strategies were introduced. Efforts were made to improve efficiency and reduce costs. But the retail environment continued becoming more competitive. Then came 2020. The COVID-19 pandemic disrupted businesses around the world, and Party City was no exception. Celebrations were cancelled. Weddings were postponed. Birthday parties became smaller. Corporate events disappeared. Large gatherings suddenly became impossible in many places. For a company built around celebrations, the timing could not have been worse. Sales declined dramatically. Customers stayed home. Foot traffic collapsed. Even as restrictions eased, consumer behavior had changed. Many people continued shopping online, accelerating trends that had already been threatening traditional retailers for years. Debt that once seemed manageable now looked overwhelming. In January 2023, Party City filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. The filing marked a stunning moment for a company that had once dominated its industry. Despite operating hundreds of stores and generating billions in revenue, Party City could no longer ignore its financial problems. Bankruptcy allowed the company to restructure its debt and continue operating. Management hoped the process would provide an opportunity to stabilize the business and build a stronger future. For a brief moment, there was optimism. The company emerged from bankruptcy with reduced debt and plans for recovery. Executives expressed confidence. Stores remained open. Customers continued shopping. Some observers believed Party City might successfully reinvent itself. But recovery proved more difficult than expected. The challenges facing the company had not disappeared. Competition remained intense. Consumer behavior continued evolving. Operating costs remained high. And the retail landscape grew increasingly unforgiving. As financial pressures returned, more store closures followed. Locations that had once served communities for decades began shutting their doors. Employees lost jobs. Customers watched familiar stores disappear. For many Americans, Party City had been part of important moments in their lives. Birthday parties, graduations, weddings, and holidays often included products purchased from the retailer. Seeing stores close felt strangely personal. The decline also highlighted a broader trend affecting retail across America. Specialty retailers were struggling. Companies built around a single category often found themselves squeezed between massive retailers and online marketplaces. Consumers had more options than ever before. Loyalty became harder to maintain. Convenience increasingly determined purchasing decisions. Party City wasn't alone. Many once successful retailers faced similar challenges. Yet Party City's story felt particularly symbolic because celebrations themselves never disappeared. People still throw parties. Children still have birthdays. Families still gather for holidays. The demand remained. The problem was that the way people purchased party supplies had changed. Today, Party City stands as a reminder of how quickly retail can evolve. A company that once appeared dominant discovered that market leadership does not guarantee long-term survival. Success in one decade does not ensure success in the next. Personally, I think what makes Party City's story so fascinating is that its downfall wasn't caused by a lack of demand. People never stopped celebrating. Instead, the company struggled to adapt to a world that was changing around it. Online shopping, shifting consumer habits, rising costs, and heavy debt combined to create a perfect storm. For years, Party City represented fun, excitement, and celebration. Its brightly colored aisles became part of countless memories for millions of Americans. But behind those balloons and decorations was a business facing challenges that many customers never saw. Whether Party City ultimately survives in some form or fades further into retail history, its story offers an important lesson. Even the companies that seem most connected to everyday life can find themselves vulnerable when industries evolve. Because in business, just like at a party, the music eventually stops. And when it does, not everyone makes it to the end of the celebration. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe to Lost Empire for more documentaries about failed companies, forgotten brands, abandoned places, and the rise and fall of once powerful businesses. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.